Hi everyone, I thought I would do a video. Most of my video sweating will come in the summer when I am exam free and there is practically not too much to do. So I will do loads of videos there because I've been annotating loads of my games. But I can't resist doing this one now. Recently I played in my first open tournament, which was at Huddersfield in some casino. And it was had this absolutely amazing performance. And it's a rapid play, 30 minutes each shot clock. And I will eventually show all the games from that, but I'm going to show this one now, where I play Mike Surtees, who is a very well-known player because he sweats congresses, and he's nearly 200 grade. He's 193 rapid, 198 long, and about 2150 Fide. And the day before this, he'd actually won the first ever Doncaster rapid play. So have I really got a hope? Well, I'd played him in the Busy Persons Blitz at Bolton, and he'd smashed me up with, as white, he played E4, E6, F4, D5, E5, C5 and B4, which is some variation at wing Gambit, and I declined it and got smashed. And he has this thing called revolutionary opening theory, which is just like openings that involve like several pawn moves, because his theory is that pieces are sometimes developed from where they are, and it's better to move pawns and grab space. Like he has some weird openers black which goes D4, C6, C4, F6, followed by E5, then Bishop B4, swapping the bishop off and putting pawns on the opposite colour, like kind of like weird Nimzo Indian with F6 and C6. So it's actually fairly sound and has beaten title players. But if something goes wrong, his position will collapse like a pack of cards. So my game plan was after E4, I'll play E5, and I expected a Menigari opening, whatever it's called, which is 2A3, which fucks a pile of rubbish. But he plays the King's Gambit, and I thought, this is normal for him. Maybe he's just going to try and blow a 1-5-3 off the board as fast as possible. I mean, he must have slipped up in round 1 if he was playing me, because I drew in round 1. So, he was probably a move for a quick kill. So anyway, I decided to take it. And now he played the most incredible move on the board with C4. And I was like, what's this dubious surprise? I mean, I thought it was an attempt to prove the Steinitz Gambit, because in that opening, white is blown away by D5 a lot. So the idea is to erect a Marozzi wall to stop it. But the problem is that in like the usual Marozzi binds, white's king is going to be safely tucked to go in G1 behind a wall of pawns, and there's no way you're going to get hacked. But in this Surtees Marozzi bind, there is a lot of danger of being hacked, because white's king is floating around in the middle of the board on E2, and that's just a recipe for disaster, or as King's Crusher would say, a losing trump card. So I thought for another 2 minutes on this move, my favourite rapid game, which is potentially suicidal, but I decided I'll play Queen H4 check and hope for the best. Check, which forces the white king to move, and now knight C6. I decided I'll just combat this via rapid development and then try and hack his king up. So D4, and white's got an impressive pawn centre, but black's got a better development, a safer king, and he's also a pawn up. So knight F6, just rapid development, knight F3, queen H5, pinning it, now knight C3. You could also take on F4, but he was probably worried about the another sacrifice with G5. And if C7 is grabbed, then G4, knight E5, and knight takes E4, and white is in dire straits. And after bishop takes G5, knight takes E4, so of course the knight can't take a pin, bishop E3 and D6, followed by rapid development, and white's going to have to play precisely to avoid getting scorched. But he played knight C3, and now I play G5, which is a little bit dubious. It's like a typical King's Gambit to hang on to pawn and gain some kingside space, but there's nothing to be right position for it. Better was bishop B4, and after knight D5, then black has the very strong knight takes E4, and this is very good for black because white won't have time to win a rook due to white's hopeless exposed king. For example, if knight takes C7, king D8, knight takes A8, white is busted by rook E8. And there is no defence to avoid losing the queen, because the king can't move anywhere off the e-file, nothing can block without losing the piece, and knight c3 winning the queen follows. Or mating. G5, and now he plays e5, a good move, and now I played g4, which is also a good move, because white's now going to regain the pawn, but The resulting position will give me chances for a scalp, as you're going to see. E takes f6 he played. An interesting option was knight e1, and g3 check is best but not actually as good as it looks because the knight just returns. Also protects h2, and after knight g4 coming into e3, white only has one move to stay in the game, and it's a good move with knight d5, exploiting the weakness of c7, which I forgot to highlight, so I will do that now. And the only way to protect it is to forfeit castling rights with king d8, and this very messy position will provide chances for both sides, although of course you've got to fancy a 1-9-3 to win this over a 1-5-3. So he took an f6, and I took an f3 check, takes back. Now I play bishop h6, because I thought a line bishop f4 is suicide. And also maybe should need to castle as fast as possible and connect the rooks. And now he played a bad move of queen d3, which was played after quite a lot of thought as well. Like over 5 minutes in a rapid game. I'm surprised he didn't play knight d5, which not only is best, but it's just perfectly natural move. It actually forks f4 and c7, although as he told me after the game, both pawns are far too risky to take. But let's have a look at some lines. King d8 I was going to play, which is best, which tries to get the rook to the e file and also protects c7. And now knight takes f4 and bishop takes f4, both lose by force. Because knight takes f4, we play rook check, and then a piece drops off by force, because say king d3 we have takes and check, and say king f2 then check, and it's resigned to time. So white's best is h4, and now the queen retreats to g6, the pawn knight takes f4, queen takes f6, knight d5, queen g7, and that's about equal with both kings fairly exposed. So equal, maybe slightly better for black, but it's a game. He plays queen d3, and now I castle, a very interesting move, which looks like I'm castling into some ready-made g-file attack, but white's bishops and rooks are all sleeping at home, and the form pawn on f6 actually is useful defence. And my bishop on h6 not only defends f4, but can also cut any rook g7s, which would be the only use of the f pawn. Now black isn't now at least slightly better. And now he plays a3. Now Mike Surtees has this rather eccentric style of moving loads of pawns before developing his pieces, and this is an example of it. However, there is a time and place for this sort of thing, and this isn't one of them, with black way ahead in development and white's king in the centre on an open file. A better option may have been to check, and then king d2, and at least white's king is going to be safe in the game for, and actually white can develop some pieces. But he plays a3, and I should have just played check and d6, but I played d6 straight away, and that gives his king a chance to evacuate, and I play bishop f5, and black is so far ahead in development, and it's equal material, and this is why I started to feel like I could cause a major upset, and he was consuming oceans of time as well due to his difficult position. Now knight e4 is practically forced, otherwise his king's slotted on the e file. I play rook f8, check, king h8, bishop e2, and now I missed basically a forced win. I moved 16 against a 1-9-3. Now I played rook g8, which I thought was a really good move because it ignores the h2 pawn for the time being, trying to attack down the g file, but it's only about +1 for me, whereas there's a quite but killing move which is over +3. So you may want to pause the video to try and find it, because it's not obvious, and I wouldn't fancy my chances of trying to see in a long game, let alone a rapid game. It's very creative. So pause the video if you want to try and guess it. Rook a d8, and there's practically nothing that can be done, followed by g5, followed by white's king being slaughtered down the centre, because all I really need to do to win this game is to open up the central files, and this was the correct way to do it. And just for example, bishop d2, then we play d5, practically has to take, rook takes, and there's just no defence to be found. Say bishop c3, then we play knight e5, and white is busted, and say king moves, then we take on d4, queen b5, and then kick the queen and then take the knight, and everything just completely falls apart, and this is also resignable. So that would have been a nice way to win. Instead I play rook g8, he moves the rook, and I play rook g2, which is only slightly better for black. The rook is in 7th heaven, but taking h2 seems better. It's b4, incredibly more pawn moves, but this is quite good. This, he's playing like Philidor. Pawns are the soul of chess. I play rook a-g8. I decided that b5 is pretty irrelevant and decided to double up rooks on the g file and snap h2 off next turn. He plays bishop d2 and everyone get the cameras out. White has developed a piece. And now I picked the absolute worst time to take the pawn on h2. Now rook e8. Because and now I turn my rook to the e file again, and I have to say rook c1, queen takes h2 is very good for black, if not winning. White is a pawn behind in a positional strap jacket. It's like White has got very little counterplay in this position. The only thing he can really do is move his queenside pawns a bit, but this is very good for black. I mean, plan maybe is to try and swap things off and then advance the h pawn to victory, like a little time bomb. So I take, and now I get very lucky actually. He could have just played b5, which I'm assuming the idea of b4 was. So again, I'm really surprised he didn't play it. Knight d8, d5, and White has now got a lot of space and counterplay, and Black's lost most of his advantage. Like, notice his bishop's got a good diagonal. My knight's been forced to passivity, and if White can advance his queenside pawns and rip open some lines, then maybe he can get behind me. But instead he makes an absolute colossal blunder with king c2, and I played a great move to exploit it. So if you want to try and spot it, please stop the video now. 2 ways to do it, by the way. Well, I play knight takes d4 check. Take advantage of the white queen being overloaded. And this takes advantage of the last move, and now black's winning at the second pawn. I'm ripping white's king open. Of course, I could also play rook takes c2, rook takes c2, knight takes d4 as well. But I think this one's more aesthetically pleasing. Now queen takes d4 is forced. And now after rook takes c4, rook takes c2, queen takes c2, and now white plays queen d3, and I don't like this move because although it's the best engine move, it's like swapping the queens over and white's 2 pawns behind, so like you think what's the out point in that? And I decided to simplify to the ending to because I'm 2 pawns up, and I predicted that white would lose an f pawn as well, so I was 3 pawns up, and that should be enough to beat anyone. So I go for simplification. I take an e4. Of course, he can't take my queen because it's pin, so he takes back. Swap everything off, and I go rook g6, which is every moment of chess blindness. Better was rook g2, king d3, bishop g5, and white's 2 pawns down for nothing. Rook g6 because I forgot that bishop c3 will win the rook if I ever take on f6, so now he gets a bit of counterplay with rook f1. I play bishop g5, and white's best chance was to play bishop c3. Oops. Takes, king g7 only move, and then take the bishops off, and then rook h4, rook h6. Black should win the same game pretty easily, 2 pawns up, but at least there's a little bit of a chance with it being a rapid game. So he just horrifically blunders with about 2 minutes left with bishop takes f4, and of course I just take an f6, and my bishop's immune due to the rook being taken, but he's also losing a piece, and then he just plays c5, I take it, and then he resigns. And what I win that, this game shows that one knight can be beaten, especially in rapid play, because my play was far from perfect in this game, but I managed to win fairly convincingly with the black pieces, and beating a player like this is a dream, and I'll probably never beat a player like the strongest again for a while, or will I? I hope you enjoyed this video and game, and I hope this gives you an inspiration that maybe I'm a good player. And this was a good little scalp, and for the first time I'm going to include PGNs in the description box, which you can download for copy paste into your chess base, so you can review the game over and over again to your heart's content with all the annotations. So for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much. And one last thing, please leave what you'd like to see over the summer when I've got a lot more time. Thanks very much.